Okay, give me just a second.
Facebook is back live.
Okay,
Wonderful.
need a motion to come out of executive session at 8:39 where no action was taken.
So moved.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Bill. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes.
Yes.
Osberger.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Holgren.
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes. And now we have General Assistance Case 22-4 in front of us, gentlemen, for a cremation.
Mr. Chairman, I'd go ahead and make a motion that we approve General Assistance Case number 22-4 for cremation.
Thank you, Bill.
Second.
Thank you, Jack. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Osberger.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Holgren.
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay, on to vendor and payroll claims. We do have a couple of, one correction and then one addition. The addition will be a grand total of $877.76. This will come out of the treasurer's budget and it's paid for mileage and some hours. And then out of the extension budget, we're actually going to, was there more than one?
No, it's just that one.
68.
The Windstream.
It's a Windstream bill, it's 6832, it would be less. It's gonna be billed out of a different, it got included in the counties, it shouldn't have been in the counties. So the extension budget one will change, or the extension one will go down, 6832. Those are the additions. Does anybody else, or additions and corrections, anybody else see anything that they had any questions about? You see, we had our first payment to the playground
Yes.
through the visitors.
They're complaining they can't hear out there.
I don't know how to turn the volume up on this.
Guys, we might need to just pull our mics closer and talk louder so they can hear.
It's on. So that's working.
Can you hear that?
Is that better?
Joe?
Just barely.
Well, they always call me a loudmouth. Can you hear me?
Okay, is there any other,
I was just gonna make a quick comment that, community development block grant, those funds we're also talking about a little bit later. Did I look at that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, correct. Yep. Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to approve the vendor and payroll claims with 2 additional claims.
Second.
thank you, guys. Okay, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Osberger.
Yes.
Holgren.
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna move on. There is no funding transfers. What we have to do later with the budget authority will take care of that. Next on the agenda is meet with Deb Robertson with the library, updates and budget requests.
Have a handout for you all.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome.
And Deb,
Yep.
Deb,
Yes,
can you make sure that microphone's
Oh,
good enough? Do we need
We can-
can anyone, everyone
Same
hear me?
person.
Is this on?
There we go.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning, Deb.
Well, today I'm here to just kind of give you a review of what we've been up to for the past year and some activities that are going on right now and answer any questions that you have for me. So the handout that I have provided is one that I've been using as I go out and speak to different service clubs or wherever anyone wants to hear what the library's up to. So I think we have a lot going on. Current programming, of course, is filled with summer activities. Today we have the Aurora Explore It Center coming to do a morning-long hands-on lab for the kids. Our theme this year is Oceans of Possibilities. So pretty much anything with water and sea animals is what we're talking about this year. And the attendance is showing growth from last year. Last year we did a lot of family activities that you could do independently because we still weren't sure where the health concerns would be with being in a crowd in the library, so, but this year we're bringing them back to the library and we're having fun again, so it's great. Some other big things that have been happening, if you've driven by the building in the last few months, the city has put a new roof on our building. We had a 27-year-old roof with a 20-year warranty, so the, timing was good. We are currently in the process of getting a complete new heating and air conditioning system. We're moving from electric heat to gas heat. Experts tell us that's a good idea, so who are we to question it? So that's happening. We are replacing cement that is adjacent to the building that goes all the way around. The first week I was here, my board told me that was something that needed to be improved because there was a good, half-inch crack between the cement and the building, and a lot of water was getting in there, freezing and causing, potential issues in time with the foundation. So that's being replaced right now, today as we speak, and while they're doing that, another new great exciting activities happening. We are planting a music garden in cement. So those are metal instruments that are tuned to make music. So we hoped to find musicians to come and give little concerts like during the farmer's market on Thursday nights or whenever it works out for groups to come. Try to act or create some community entertainment along with everything else that we have going on. So that's a fun, exciting thing. That is a partnership again where the Sixpence program from York Public Schools donated the music instruments, and we've donated the space, and now with the cement, it's really turning into a nice project. There'll be benches for folks to sit and just kind of have family time outside. And of course, our Wi-Fi bleeds out to that far, so people can sit there and use our Wi-Fi when time says that's what they need to do. So let's see here. And then the last project that's in my budget from the city this year is replacement of our broken, I didn't have a clue until a year ago when someone finally couldn't take it anymore. Our sprinkler system underground was obsolete and hardly working, so our yard should look better again in a year or two. So things like that have been happening. So do you guys have any questions for me as far as this list goes, or anything that you want to know about what we're up to? The back side of your handout is this is a report that I give to the city council every month, and I just thought it was interesting enough to share with you guys to show where things are growing in different areas that the library provides the services that we do. I have submitted a budget request for the 2023 budget year, and Kelly has that information, so that's what I came to share this morning, unless you have something you want to talk about.
So when we look at the door count, that every time the door gets open, that counts.
Yep.
So I mean, if somebody comes in and out
Yes,
several
so
times, it's still
yes, so it's-
every time it opens?
Yes, half that number would be the realistic number, yes.
Okay. Anybody have any questions of Deb this morning?
I appreciate your time, thank you very
Thanks
much.
for
Thank
coming
you.
today, Deb. Okay, Okay, next up, we have Carmen Hinman with Hope Crisis. Updates and budget request there.
Good morning.
Thank you.
It's just the same thing you sent out attachment-wise?
Yes, yes. Now you can have a copy of your own.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hard copy.
Yes, a hard copy. It's more enjoyable.
And just name,
Okay.
both of you, if you're going to talk, please.
Carmen Hinman, and I am the Executive Director of Hope Crisis Center.
Kylie Troutman, I am the victim advocate for York and Fillmore County.
Thank you.
So I think everybody's face is familiar to us, so thank you for allowing us to be here this morning with you to share again about Hope Crisis Center and just provide you an overview of kind of our last year and the services that we provide to York County. Again, Kylie is our victim advocate. She offices here in York. We actually have a shared office space with the Child Advocacy Center, so that has provided to be just a nice partnership as well when we have crossover of referrals. So since there's a large crowd here, I'll kind of just give an overview of Hope Crisis Center if you'll turn to Page 3, Hope Crisis Center proudly provides advocacy, education, and confidential emergency services to survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault throughout 7 counties in southeast Nebraska. It is our mission to unconditionally support and serve the diverse needs of survivors as they navigate the challenges associated with domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, trafficking, and other forms of abuse. You can see in the right-hand bottom corner there, our services. We have a 24-hour hotline. We do personalized advocacy, so anybody that is in need of services that comes in, and again, like Kylie works one-on-one with our advocates through their barriers, what their needs are, safety, all of those things. We have a bilingual advocate located in Crete in Saline County, as that's where our largest population is, but but we do wherever that need is of mainly Spanish speaking individuals, that our staff there meets the need of that. Community education, so we pride ourselves in going out and doing prevention education, so we are in the schools and colleges, high schools, middle schools, elementary schools, and of course education is tailored to those age groups that's appropriate for their age. And then again, having York College and 4 other colleges in our service area, we do a lot of work, try to do a lot of work on college campuses as well for education purposes. Emergency assistance can look like, again, shelter with our program, rent assistance, deposit assistance, utility assistance if needing, or relocating, or the abuser has left the home and so it's down to 1 income, or possibly even a victim that doesn't have employment, and so we have means, emergency assistance, that we're able to support with that. Legal advocacy can look like protection orders, helping them walk through the court system, whatever that looks like, connecting them with attorneys through legal aid or our Nebraska Coalition, who has legal representation that we can connect them with through various grant programs to get legal assistance for them. Sexual assault and medical advocacy, so obviously if someone is sexually assaulted or even hurt during a domestic, we want to get them medical attention and ensure that obviously that they're okay, and helping them meet any of those medical needs. Temporary emergency shelter, I mentioned that already, and then of course outreach and our education piece. So I'll draw your attention to pages 4 through 6, which is a little bit of an overview of our data. So this is our 7 counties combined, of course. Number of unduplicated victims served last year was 485. And what that means is unduplicated is 1 person 1 time that year, meaning we don't count that person. If we serve them for 6 months, they're counted 1 time. So 485 different individuals that we served last year. 136 children, that's 0 to 17 of age. Number of minorities, 52. Number of victims provided shelter, 50. Number of children provided shelter, 55. For a total number of shelter nights of 1,286 shelter nights. And then we fielded almost 4,000 hotline calls. And then also bottom of page 7, in addition to serving clients in our 7 counties, we also, sorry, I said 7, I meant 4. We also assisted survivors from 19 other counties. So that can mean people are fleeing to our area for safety reasons, or they may know somebody. So often we are relocating individuals to the different counties that we serve. And that means, like for York County, for example, speaking of each county individually, we may rehouse someone here, shelter someone here, provide food to them while they're here with us, all of those things. But it's also important to know that depending on the level of lethality, we're not always moving individuals. Like often what we want to do is provide support to them and keep stability for them, especially if there's kiddos that are going to school and things like that. As little as we can uproot things for them, we try to keep that stability. So that may may mean just creating safety plans for them, protection orders if that's something that they want to go through, and again, doing what we can to keep kids safe and in school throughout the school year. Summer is a busy time for us, and I think that that's often because kids are out of school, and then we can make more moves during that time if that's something that that family wishes to do. Moving on to page 5, you can see that highlights specifically Seward County, which is a unique relationship that we have with the Seward County Attorney's Office there. So we work various crimes in Seward County, work with victims of various crimes in Seward County. Again, that's really specific to Seward County. Then you can see our bilingual advocacy at the bottom of page 5. Turning on to page 6, I want to highlight sexual assault. We served 48 victims specifically of sexual assault, 23 required medical advocacy, and 3 forensic exams were completed. And then again, speaking of our emergency assistance, you can see at the bottom or halfway through page 6, helping make homes. We did 27 home inspections, so with some of our financial assistance that we receive, we are required to meet HUD requirements, so that means a checklist of inspections. So we provided almost $24,000 in housing financial assistance, which includes rent, deposits, and utilities. And then absolutely more than we have ever provided, almost $40,000 in shelter last year. So COVID has obviously changed our world for everyone, and for our line of work, we have seen long-term stays in our shelter, a desperate need for that throughout the last couple of years. So where normally our shelter line item is usually about $20,000 to $25,000, we last year almost reached $40,000 of shelter services for our agency. So so I want to draw attention to that is where our county support dollars are so important to us, is that if our grant money is out, you know, we're not wanting to turn clients down ever. So we utilize our county support dollars. We utilize our county support dollars for things that our grants will not cover, like changing door locks, you know, different things like that. Every family situation comes up with different barriers, and so we will do what we can to help them get through those barriers. So. And then just, I know that you have big agendas, so we'll try to kind of, you can look through the report yourselves, but I do want to draw attention to the bottom of page 7, which is York County specific, that also is our, is the telehealth at Henderson Community Hospital, and I'll let Kylie just briefly mention our process with that.
Yeah, so that was actually a really exciting partnership for us. We attended about a half-day training along with some of the nursing staff at the Henderson Community Hospital, where we learned about doing like SANE exams for sexual assault victims there at the Henderson Community Hospital, and they are now doing those via telehealth. It's a really interesting, new and exciting adventure for us, because we have struggled for quite a while trying to get SANE nurses in York County specifically, so that we don't have to transport victims to Lincoln every single time. That is just adds to the length of the process already. So we were really excited to have that opportunity with Henderson Community Hospital. So that's something new that we've added within this last year.
And then last, I just kind of want to highlight and the sad reality of our work on the bottom of page 11 is that in our service area this last year, we had 2 deaths, a death of an infant in Jefferson County, and the death of a young woman by violence in Gage County, who is in her 30s. So if you can see towards the bottom right-hand corner of page 13, we really wanted to pay tribute to these 2 victims who sadly lost their life. And though it's something that we don't like to talk about as communities, as individuals. It is the harsh reality of the work that we do, and it's the reason that why we're here day in and day out, and so that we can hopefully prevent that from happening to individuals. So on page 14 this year, we chose to highlight Holland's little story, and I will, of course, not bring the whole entire room down with that story, but sadly, he lost his life, and we were a large part of that case to get his batter convicted, hopefully for life. So that is what we do. That's why we're here. That's why we ask you to provide continued support from York County, because it's so very important. And again, 25 plus years, I'm still very passionate about what we do at Hope Crisis Center. We have an amazing team, and Kylie does amazing work here in York County, and we just, we're proud of the work that we do, and we're happy to continue to be here for those that need our services. So like every year, we just ask that you'll continue to think about us when you're, deciding on your county budgets, and we couldn't do it without our counties that support the work that we do. So we're trying to get, I had shared last year that we're trying to get our counties at a combined 10% of our overall budget, and so last year was year 1, this year is year 2, so there's a little increase, and then next year, and again, we just ask that you support us at what level you can, because it's incredibly crucial to the work that we do. So can we entertain any questions? I know you've got people waiting behind us, but happy to answer any questions that you might have of our program, or anything about what we do.
Anybody have any questions of Carmen this morning?
I got one, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Along with your budget request is usually a plea for serving on your board of directors as well. Do you guys meet in person? Do you meet virtually?
We do meet in person. We're actually kind of looking at a hybrid of that right
Okay.
now. We just went through a strategic planning process that we just completed last month, actually this month. So we're kind of looking at doing some committee work with the board, and then possibly a hybrid of board meetings. And so we're always looking for passionate board members that want to be supportive of our mission. So definitely, please, if you know someone or you're interested, reach out to me. So that right now, to answer your question, we meet in person in Fairbury.
Okay. How
They
often?
are once a month.
Okay.
It's 10 months out of 12. So we don't meet the month of July, and we do not meet the month of December.
Okay.
So, but we are looking at some different options of what that might look like through our strategic plan. So
Very
if you're
good.
interested, let me know.
We'll see if we can find someone for you.
Do you allow county assessors on the board? He's not commenting. He will be our new county assessor next
Is
year.
Kurt moving into that role?
Okay, so do you have some folks that work at Blue Valley on your board of directors? Some of the names
We
look
do.
familiar. Because I
Yes,
know
we
we
do.
do hybrid meetings, like you were saying,
Yep.
so they might be a good resource for
Yeah,
that too.
we do. So, but we're always looking, and our goal was, in the beginning, was to have two individuals from each county represented on our board. But that apparently was a pipe dream, because we have not been able to successfully make that happen. So we're always looking for interested, passionate people. We have a board of 10 right now, and we're always looking for individuals that are driven to support our cause. So please let us know.
Anybody else have any other questions? Thank you for what you
Yes.
do, both of you. I think it's good to have the room full and hear your report this morning, and it realizes that, sometimes we think our problems are huge and they're pale compared to what other people go through
Right.
living right around us. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And ladies, have a good day.
Okay, next we're gonna meet with Pervez. And you brought somebody with you, so when you guys come up, we'll get your names and stuff for the record.
And then I'm just going to pass out some of the prepared remarks. Mike, you mind passing out some of these?
Thanks. Thank you.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, y'all. Burbez Audubon, EDF Renewables.
Alan Blazer, EDF Renewables Project Developer.
Okay, thank you. Floor is yours right now.
Thank you, thank you. So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for your time today. First, I'd just like to say that Hope Crisis Center, sitting back here, I agree that we all have, a slate of problems in our lives, but anything we can do to help out others, I just think is so important. So I was just glad to know that folks like that are doing such great work out here. And it makes me happy and proud to know that y'all support that. So, my name is Burbez Audubon, and I'm going to read from a prepared remarks that I wrote up. One of the project developers for EDF Renewables, the energy company behind the planned K-Junction solar project in McCool Junction. I'm very grateful to the York County Commissioners today for allowing me a few minutes to provide a progress update. And alongside my colleague, Alan Blazer, also a project developer, we will be happy to answer any and all questions following my brief remarks. EDF Renewables is headquartered in San Diego, has more than 1,200 U.S. employees, and has been developing projects and investing in United States communities for more than 35 years. Thousands of farmers and landowners have partnered with us, enabling the development and construction of energy projects that are now powering approximately 5 million American homes with homegrown American energy. Our more than 150 project developments in the United States have meant billions in private investment, creating thousands of new jobs and resources in communities across the country. Here in York County, we are still very early in what is a multi-year permitting and development process, but the plan for the solar project is on land leased from nearly 30 landowners and farmers who made the decision to lease their private property to us as business owners and stewards of their own land, accustomed to selecting the best crop for their land and their families. We understand, and this is to the commissioners and to the many folks in the room and the folks watching online, we understand and have heard from the community that the process to date can be more open and transparent. So I am personally committed to engage with everyone in this community to address questions and concerns as we move forward. And to the many folks that are in this room that I had the chance to meet yesterday, and that I've been meeting continually over the last 8 months, I have personally met with you. I have handed you my contact information. My line is always open. If you have questions, if you have concerns and comments, please call me. I know for a fact, mostly everyone in this room now has my cell phone number. Since February, we have held multiple public meetings, proactively reached out to project neighbors and community members using a combination of mail, phone calls, emails, in-person meetings, and a dedicated Facebook page. Using Facebook, news, the newsletter, we've been able to reach lots of active users in York County with information about the project, invite people to our public events, and engage with many questions. Members of this EDF Renewables team will continue to make themselves available in a variety of ways, including the in-person event yesterday at the Junction Pizza Company. We had a pizza party. It was good pizza. We want to thank them again for their hospitality and great pizza. Recently, we shared a study about the long-term positive economic impacts K-Junction Solar would deliver to the entire community. I shared with y'all that study that was produced by the University of Nebraska, and it has been shared across the room. This is also posted on our website. We did that not only because it has been our experience in partner communities, and we've developed dozens of projects just like this in counties just like York County, but also because people here in this community, including Commissioner Groats in January, raised these questions directly with us, so we wanted to respond. According to that study by the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, the K-Junction Solar Project would represent a substantial long-term investment in York County. The project would generate estimated property tax revenues of more than $1.24 million each year of the project. That's net new revenue going directly to York County, the local towns, local schools, and the fire districts, and into really amazing initiatives like the Hope Crisis Center that just spoke before us. This includes more than $27 million of tax revenue directly going to the McCool Junction School District over the life of the project, or around $780,000 per year. This study that you're looking at, that I see Commissioner Bogdan has in his hand, is available on our website, and we've shared copies with all of your offices. As we head into the summer, we'll continue to look for ways to engage with members of this community, including having one of our colleagues, Mike Bowe, he's in the back, Mike, who will set up office hours in town, in McCool Junction, at a regular cadence to have people drop by and ask questions. It is so important to us that people, if they have concerns, they speak with Mike, they call me. Our line is always open, and it always has been. Thank you again for the opportunity today. Our door, my personal cell phone, Alan's personal cell phone, is always open if you or the community has questions or needs additional information. Thank you for your time today, and I'm happy to take questions.
Okay. Guys, what I'd like to do is, if anybody from the commissioners has any questions at this point in time, ask them, and then we will let the public, if the public has comments, come up and comment. Pervez, I appreciate the fact that you're willing to answer a bunch of questions. It is still our meeting to run, kind of the way we want, so I'd like to have public input and not get into a huge Q&A and stuff like that, because I think you've probably heard a lot of them, but I definitely don't want to squash any public comment right now, too, and allow the public to comment. So at this point in time, Commissioners, do we have any questions? This is the same information, nothing new than what you emailed us, right?
That's correct.
It should be the same, okay. And anybody? If I see none, go ahead.
I can't remember when it was, there was a meeting, I asked the question, you guys came in here, and I asked the question, how many acres were needed for this proposal? And I thought it was around 5,000, does that ring a bell initially? Has that number increased, decreased? And then I also think the question was asked, how many leases or easements you guys have already, or EDF had already obtained? Has that number gotten any bigger or smaller, or where are we at in those numbers?
So great question, Commissioner Bogdan. And originally, when we had come, we were still trying to determine if we had enough land for a project, because not only does it require the land, we have to connect the parcels and then find a way to connect to the McCool Junction substation that the MPPD owns and operates. We do now have a more concise and precise layout of the project, so we have shrunk it down to around 2,500 acres, because now we know how we can connect the parcels together. And we have around 24 landowners that have signed up for leases, and then as far as easements are concerned, you'll probably look at around maybe half a dozen to a dozen easements, which are just, if you think about it, 150 feet wide, usually underground, and it's just to cross over someone's land with cables underground. So right now, we do have around 24 landowners signed up, and aiming for around 2,500 acres.
Most everything is underground.
The panels will, of course, be above ground, but most of the cabling and wiring is underground.
Crossing the county roads, will that go back aerial, or will that be underground also? This network of wires that will lead into the high wires, will that be, like when you cross our roads, will you come up and go aerial like a lot of the power is out there, or will that also be underground too?
It depends on the final project layout and the zoning regulations, which will happen, as well as kind of the permit and how that process kind of unfolds. Because right now the layout is interchangeable, and in some places we might not even be crossing the roads, right? So that's a discussion I can email you and answer back as we look at it some more. And
Okay. So that will depend on, there could be a mixture of both, is what there could be, okay. Anybody else?
I don't know if this is relevant at this point, but it's a question that's popped around in my head. and I understand that maybe this isn't a question also, might not be for you, it might be more for MPPD that's running the substation. But where I'm going with this, so this project, currently 2,500-ish acres, do you foresee, let's say this goes really well, the project's running great, and now you want to develop more energy, would you ever foresee this expanding and either going to 5,000 or going to 3,000 or, and so I guess what I'm asking is, would you foresee that this project could expand in the, 10, 15 years? Or, and that probably is a little bit, restricted on the substation, so I don't know if maybe this isn't a question for you, but just a question that's been popping around in my head.
That's a great question. So the way that it works, so Nebraska, especially the McCool Junction substation, it falls under the Southwest Power Pool, which is SPP. And in order to build any project that generates electricity, you have to file an interconnection request with the SPP. Now, what that essentially means is you're capped and you can only deliver as much energy as is the nameplate on your interconnection request, which in this case is 310 megawatts. So no, we do not anticipate ever expanding the footprint of this project. And then the way these work essentially is, these are multi-million-dollar, like long-term capital at-risk projects. So there are multiple hurdles that have to be passed in order for us to approve a project like this. And there's a lot of risk involved. And what that essentially means is we engage in power purchase agreements to de-hedge and kind of make the project less risky. So someone such as NPPD or a consumer or an industrial consumer or another utility would purchase the electricity from this project for a set amount of years, for a tenure. And what that essentially means is we're locked into selling that electricity for that tenure, in which case there's really no room for additional capital to expand the project because the project has already been de-risked by the function of that PPA. So number one is no, we cannot expand through the SPP interconnection request. And number two, usually projects like this, they operate as was agreed upon in the PPA at that capacity for the life of the project.
Thanks.
Anybody else? And we can always ask more. At this time, I would ask you guys, because I assume we're gonna have some public questions or comments, and if you guys want, so they can come up to the mic, step back, and at this time, I'd open it up to the public. If you wanna come up and talk, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Probably not done with you yet, but you're welcome.
Jim Jackson, 907 Road 2, Fairmont. I live in Hayes Township. I have several questions. I'd like to know how you determine, or could you tell me what percentage of the time you're going to generate that, how much energy you're going to generate? The other couple things I'd like to say is, of all the prairie soils in the whole world, there's only 7% of them. And we're sitting on one of the 4 places. The other thing is, our 17% of the land in the United States is cropland, is irrigated, and that produces 54% of the crop income for agriculture in the United States. There are 19 million acres farmed in Nebraska. Now, with all the things that are going on and the rush to get to clean energy, I think we're gonna need all the land we've got now. Anyway, my complaint is food is more important than green energy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Any others?
Hi, Jake Owens, local citizen and father. Just wanted to comment because it seems to me that, as I've followed a lot of the debate on this via the News Times and the internet, it seems like there's a lot of vocal opposition to the project, and I felt like as I've asked around town of local leaders, people that I know, the people that I spend time with, other parents, other business people, it strikes me that overwhelmingly I'm hearing a lot of support for the project, but I'm also hearing a lot of people are uncomfortable coming forward with that. And so everybody seems really civil to me, so I thought I'd come forward with support for it. It strikes me that, you know, I know that our farmland is probably the most precious resource we've got in this area. You know, I won't bicker with people who aren't here that disagree with that, but I think it's one of the most important things we've got. But I also, you know, I think what strikes me as I've researched this is that there are private landowners agreeing to this already. And I don't know anyone who's more invested in our farmland than the people who've been farming it for generations. If they see it as a good idea, if our own university down the highway sees this as a huge financial win for our community, and if people on the street don't understand why we wouldn't upgrade and update our electricity so that we don't end up like Texas a year or two ago, I don't see other than, you know, that we have an emotional connection to our land, and that's so good. That's one of the best things about us, and it's part of why I brought my family here, is because this is a community that feels that way, that behaves that way. But I think we also have to see that, you know, this is a good thing for us, and I have yet to see a study that indicates that it will reduce in any significant way the amount of agriculture going on in our nation. I frankly am not real clear what the objections to the project are, other than the word green is kind of a bad word to certain groups. I really can't decipher reading through everything what the objection is other than that. So, all that being said, I'm a little bit off track and I apologize. Just a local person that thinks this is a good idea, wanted to voice some support for it.
Thanks for your time, Jay.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Anybody else?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Ken.
Ken Rail, 201 Road Elm, Cool Junction. I have absolutely nothing planned. We have certainly, our families partook in all the information with this company that's come into our backyard. I don't even know where to start, so I don't think I can. The study right here is a wonderful tool, and it's just amazing things that money can buy you. I don't think that UNL probably particularly did this study for some random reason. They had somebody that funded it, and of course, we got a hunch. If we've seen it through many trade groups, if you want to get something, you go in your direction. If you're paying the bill, it's gonna read the way you want it to read. So good work by you guys and UNL. So, you know, our daily commute, our businesses, we're right on the York-Fillmore County line. Our family's been there for 130 years, 126 years to be exact. My dad didn't move in that place. My parents lived 700 feet from the inverters, this huge inverter field. 700 feet from what these guys are running to propose. Mr. Jackson over here lives probably 950 feet from this inverter field. Our daily commute between our two small feedlot operations, which we're going to be reflecting heat and raising the temperature around our cattle feeding right now. We've got to look at this. Again, I'm a lifelong member of the McCool community, and all the years that I grew up, I can only remember one or two kids riding on that school bus. And we have got an unbelievable rural rejuvenation going on. You take off southwest McCool, guys, there is 6 acreages. They got young families out there. 3 of them are going to be surrounded by solar panels. Well, my family has got a broken leg. I had a son that passed away in 2014. I go up and I visit his gravesite. And our family has a lot of ties to agriculture. And by the proposed area, I got to go up and his gravestone's about 600 feet from your panels. So you want to keep grinding the burr into my saddle, somebody that's been here a long time And I'm not gonna lay down, I'm not gonna make this acceptable, no matter how much money you guys throw at our neighbors, you throw at us, studies. And you know what, I'm half interested in solar power. I've got some neighbors, business connections, that have got a half acre, an acre behind their bin sites, they power the farms with it. That's great, if that's what they wanna do. But guys, we grow food, this is York County, we are blessed with the best soils in the country, right here, abundant groundwater, which I'm really concerned about. And why do we need all these extra acres? I do have a question, what's the incentive for you guys on these extra farms, these extra acres? How much per acre is that going to a builder's pocket for getting a lease on these farms? It's amazing that this had to be a 5,000 acre project to get 315 or 310 megawatt, and all of a sudden magically, well, we can do it on 2,500. So we got all these extra leases out there. But what's the bigger picture here? What's the incentive for you guys to get? It almost seems like a land grab. I don't know what's going on here, but well, guys, I thank you for your time. Thank you for having us host the meetings. It's just we're not going anywhere. You guys are. We're not going anywhere. We're proud to be in York County, and I take a lot of pride in that logo right there. I can see my great-great-grandparents back there walking behind that plow. And we've seen hard times too. Actually, my family started southeast McCool on the York County side, and my great-great-grandfather couldn't make a harness payment in about 1892, over 30 bucks, and lost that place and was able to move just right on the Fillmore County line. So we understand hard times, changing ag, but guys, this is not a part of the future for York County. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Anybody else? Jim?
Jim Cleary, 1202 Road I. I'm in with Ken Reel on this. We're in the livestock industry. This doesn't make a lot of sense. We're going to subsidize now the ethanol plants, but we're also now with their project probably going to take 750,000 bushels of grain away from those plants. That's probably a $250,000 bushels of distillers grain that would normally come back to the local feed yards. You convert that on a 7-to-1, that's probably 400,000 pounds of meat. You're not gonna feed the people. I don't understand. I've done the numbers. This is a study they've done. You take away from the insurance, you take away from the pivots, you take away from perennial, you take away from everything that you're taking away from, it's a standoff. I can't see that there's any economic value in what they're doing. I think the only economic value is selling the tax credits that they're going to promote. We won't get advantage of the tax credits. Some big industry will, but you're taking away from agriculture, which is York County, when you take that much out of production. We spent a lot of money doing the zoning regulations when I was on the board. I don't think they've been to the zoning people to even ask whether York County is zoned for something like that. I don't think they've had a meeting. So why are we talking until somebody goes that route? I can't see it as a plus as far as agriculture. I think when you're doing the solar plant out at the landfill, I think it's a good deal. But there's places to put these things. They got 20,000 acres over by Hastings, belongs to the federal government, it's in grass. You're not gonna really take away from agriculture there. That already belongs to the government. I don't see it a plus.
Thanks, Jim. Anybody else?
Gene Jackson, 216 Road K, Hayes Township. This study you see here
To read the fine print, they use $4.20 a bushel corn. I've written down the price of corn since 2013 every day. It hasn't been at that price since Christmas Eve of 2020. This thing is no good. Thank you.
Thanks, Gene. Anybody else want to speak this morning? Okay. Pervez, you want one last time to talk? No. Last time this morning to talk?
I just want to thank everyone for their time. To Mr. Jackson, to Mr. Rio, and gentleman, I missed your name. It was Jim.
Yes.
I just want to thank them for providing their feedback. Al and I would like to say, we are here, we're listening. I want to continue conversation. I do want to know what it would take for you to consider us allies and community members and stewards of your community, and I honestly mean that from the bottom of my heart. I know your family's been here a long time, and I don't want you feeling that we're overstepping. I want you to feel like we're honest members of your community. And it is going to be 2,500 acres or less. If 2,500 acres that are leased out, they're going to go back to the landowners. They're not going to be panels on those, right? That's going to be producing corn and other crops. We're not using 1,000 acres, right? When you're building a project, you're just not sure how it's going to connect. So you try to find, it's like a funnel, right? You start big, and you try to figure out how you're going to make it happen, and you funnel it down to what you think we can actually do. So I want to thank everyone for their time again. Everyone has my card, my contact information. You know, I'm always receptive to hearing from you at all times. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your morning.
Thank you, Pervez. I would like to say that I appreciate the citizens. I know this is very emotional for the citizens of York County. I believe at one of your meetings that was moderated by Jenny Reese with the Extension Office, there was a meeting almost similar to that, another part of the state, and the citizens of York County have been very civil, even though they're very emotional, and another meeting that night did not turn out that way. So we're not always going to agree on things, but as long as we can talk through it, and that I appreciate what you guys are doing too, and I do understand where our citizens are coming from also. So thank you guys for today, and you know, you obviously have our contact information, so just keep bringing forward whatever you have.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will continue on with our agenda. Next up, we have a half hour before Board of Equalization. I had in my mind it was 9:30 today. That's not the case. It's 10 o'clock. So I'm off. Did Dwayne
I
know
told him to
that?
be here 9:30 to 10.
Okay,
somewhere in
perfect.
that
Man, just
range.
didn't want to get into something we didn't. So discuss and act on a vehicle donation from City of York to York County Public Transportation. Lori's in attendance with us today. I did get a little bit of information forwarded to me from Sue Crawford, City Administrator. It is a 2015, I'm trying to go off memory. It's a 2000,
Actually.
it's a Ford Expedition with 140,000 miles on it. I do know that. And they also,
They have removed the cage,
yes,
separating it, that's already ready in.
2015 Ford Expedition, 140,300 miles on it. It has got, also with that, they had a line item of about $1,000 that they would put towards this vehicle, giving that to the city also, or to the county, sorry, and that comes with it. It is just a vehicle that was taken out of service is all. Refresh the board again, what you were
Yes.
going to use it for.
This is, currently, we are awaiting vehicles from NDOT to replace vehicles that are currently being used, whose life expectancy has been exceeded. Because we've not gotten those vehicles yet, due to things beyond everyone's control, Our vehicles are having a lot of maintenance issues, and we've had 3 vehicles at one time being worked upon, which leaves only 2 vehicles to drive, and we need more than that. So we were at a meeting with the Four Corners Health Department about health-related transportation issues where this came up. The city was there, or Sue was there for the city, and so she offered this vehicle to help us. We would use it as a backup when vehicles are in the shop, so that we would have enough vehicles that we could meet the needs of the citizens that we provide transportation for.
Okay.
So this is a Band-Aid, we understand, but we need something to carry us on to provide services until we can get the replacement vehicles from NDOT. And so we understand it's used, but we're hoping it'll provide the service until we get, we're expecting 1, hopefully this year, and then we've also got 2 more that have been requested that they're probably 2 years, even though we need them now, they're 2 years down the line to be replaced.
And this is a vehicle that once the not aging, but our transportation is done with it, it is ours to do with as we see fit. There's no return, it's ours. It will be titled to us and we can sell it or whatever.
And we will put our public transportation stickers on it as well.
Are there, the city stickers, have they been removed? Or were there stickers?
I
or
haven't
we
seen
can
the
put 'em over
outside
the
of
top
this
them, or-
vehicle, but we will make sure it's dealt with before it's put out. It'll at least have theirs removed and a public transit sticker on it. It may be some more time before we can get our graphic artist,
Sure.
after hours
Do you-
graphics to put the wrap
The full
on it.
wrap.
Yeah.
Which just brings up, I don't know how much that costs, but is it, knowing that this is temporary, is it worth going all the way, or, I don't know, I'm just,
I have gone back and forth
Sure.
on that, and I figured if it comes with a wrap, we'll probably need to cover it.
sure,
If the wrap has been removed, I think it would suffice to just put the public
Right.
transportation stickers on it.
Yep.
But I haven't seen it visually on the outside, so she's just sent me pictures of the inside.
Same thing I got, yes. So I'm guessing that Jim, I think Jim does a lot of Jim Wallingford does a lot of for our sheriff's department. I think he does it for the police department. And obviously, that's something $1,000 could be spent towards too, is putting,
Yes.
whether temporary magnet stickers or something like that.
Well, the public transportation stickers are given to us by NDOT.
Okay,
So there's specific stickers that they
Okay.
require to be put on it. The graphic we have is copyrighted by After Hours Graphics. They're the one that
Okay.
actually developed it for us.
okay. So that's what we have in front of us, is basically, we would need a motion to accept the vehicle from the city. Unless anybody has any more questions for Lori. Any
I'll make a
comment?
motion, we accept the offer from the city to use their vehicle.
Thank you, Jack.
Second.
Thank you, Bill. Any other discussion on this?
just one quick question, did we have any, and/or, I don't know if we necessarily need it, the motion I think probably suffices, but we had talked maybe having an agreement of some sort drawn up, do we?
I think in this case here, we're talking about titling a vehicle.
Right.
And, you know, once we do that, it's done. I mean, we could write something up, just like a bill of sale is gonna be
Right.
sufficient.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
that's that, so.
Yep. Okay.
I had talked to the county attorney about this, and there was no
Yep.
problems that he could foresee on this item either.
Very good.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Sykes.
Yes.
Swansburger.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Holdren.
Yes.
Obenauer.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Hold on.
I
You
know,
got the
I'm getting
memory,
ready to
okay.
talk.
I was gonna say, I didn't know if you was run. Discuss and act on a memorandum of agreement for public transportation services within the city of York. And this is something that the county attorney did look at also, and I believe his words were short, sweet, to the point, looked good. So,
The only item of question in here is to put the transportation rate of reimbursement from the city to the county. We had, in the draft, I had about $1, which equaled the amount, we had about 7,500 boardings of local boardings, which is the city's share. The city was the Busy Wheels and the county was the Handy Bus, and when we merged, the city started providing support for the city portion. Well, that 700 or 7,500 amount has been the same amount that we've had since 2013. And so we may want to think about asking for an increase on that because it doesn't completely cover the local share of costs. So that's the only reason why I left that out, because I thought that might be something that the board might want to consider requesting something closer to the actual share of cost, which would probably be more like $1.50.
okay, and that would be item number 3.
Yes.
And then, of course, this would take our signature on it, and then we would forward it, and I believe it's on the
It's on
agenda
the agenda with the city.
for the city, and they would take their signature also. And are you gonna present this, or are you gonna go to that
I'm
meeting?
going to go to that meeting,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. So, and the dollar is a little short, because that was the number?
Dollar is, yes, that's about 12 years short.
Okay,
$1.50 would be closer to what it actually costs to provide the share that doesn't get reimbursed by the federal and the state, and the local, meaning the fares, and it would be closer to $1.50,
okay,
to be more accurate.
go ahead.
Have you had that conversation with city officials?
I did tell Sue that, or not Sue, Amanda that.
Okay.
I talked with Amanda about that, and she asked for me to let her know as soon as we got done here, and then I'll provide her with the updated one so she can then use it at the city level.
And this is something that Amanda actually brought up, because this was an item they were funding
Right.
without an agreement.
Right.
It
I would
been
just
going
send
on.
them a request every year for $7,500 for, and then back in 2013, I had increased it from $6,000 to $7,500. And it had been at $6,000 since I had come on board in 2006, so.
Okay,
Are there terms on here to revisit this after X amount of years so that we avoid the whole issue with it's been $1 for 12 years and that doesn't
Yes.
cover the costs?
Item 5, it may be modified or extended, but the cost, we put a dollar amount per boarding because our costs per boarding tend to, as our boardings go up, the cost would increase. So if we saw more boardings of local boardings, then it would reflect that with this dollar amount.
Okay.
so yes, it covers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Lori.
Sorry, I always go the long way.
Any other questions for Laura?
Is this treated like an interlocal then that needs to be filed with the state auditor's office or included on the list that we?
Yes, this would be like an interlocal because we're accepting funds.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we authorize the chairman of the York County Board of Commissioners to sign said agreement with the city of York with the change of $1.50 per boarding.
Now, at the bottom it does, and I missed this before, it does say county resolution number. That's in the agreement, so do we need to adopt a resolution to do this?
That's what I did.
That's what you did, okay. I was reading that while you were speaking, I'm sorry.
So you need this to be a resolution.
Yes.
See, you didn't get it either. Okay,
I'll second your motion.
thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Holgren.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Holmesburg.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Omenauer.
Yes. Okay, Lori,
Thank you very much.
anything else today?
Not that's on the agenda.
Okay.
Got your phone?
Thank you.
Okay, next item. Leela was not able to make it. She is under the weather today. This information was sent to you in your packets. Discuss an act on approving courthouse conference room furniture, audio-visual technology update proposals. Our old commissioner room is being spruced up a little bit, just like the break room downstairs with new flooring. Leela has been instrumental in getting all that information in front of you, and she couldn't make it today. For instance, there was just a class, APCO, I think it was, APCO, just last month, where we had people from across the state here for, I believe, 3 days. It's being utilized as a training center downstairs, not only by the call center, but I know the Sheriff's Department has used it, and others are using it too. Asking for upgrades to have better tables, chairs. This would be something that I would say we either look at the inheritance fund funding or the ARPA money would fit in there in funding it. But it looks like some nice upgrades down there. And so, you have any questions that I may be able to answer?
I think in visiting with her, and she's brought it up with the tech committee too. She kind of just went over what the project was there a little bit, and in addition to the training, I think she also mentioned as well that there could be times where you need to have like an emergency center of some sort where, if something happens next door, on our addition, or if you just need an operations center for some sort of emergency that happened in the county, it could be utilized for something like that too. So I know there's probably a little sticker shock when you look at some of the furniture that's being proposed for that, but I think at the same time, that's probably what you'd want down there. The chairs and the tables are the kind that you can just kind of fold down and roll away, so it's kind of easy for anyone to move that stuff around and set the room up how you need it. So, and if you're gonna make it worth doing, I think you just need to do it right from the start. So, and I agree. I'd probably prefer using ARPA funds for it. So
That's fine.
whatever.
I will say that the pricing you'll see is the Purchasing Act requires us to do certain things unless it is part of a pricing structure, and this is part of this Omni pricing structure that everybody is agreed. It's kind of like going to the state bid. It's pre-qualified would be a good word, so that's why there doesn't have to be multiple bids on this.
I do have one question, and I don't know if we can answer it. I was looking at the TV options, and I see that she put in there for 2. I think it would be 1 on each side, and then there will be a projector in the front. I was just interested in whether or not we needed the 2. If when we were talking about it in tech committee, they were saying that maybe this, the TVs be mounted on the edge, on the sides of the room towards, the middle or towards the back, so that when you were in the back, if the projector was too far away, you could see it here on the sides. I don't know if that would be, if we could save in just doing 1, or if we have thoughts on having 1 on both sides of the room. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
tossing that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the room and used the projector, and it's not that big a room.
Right.
I was just going by what, they felt like in their classes
Yep.
of going that way, so
Yep.
they're the ones doing the class. So
Yep.
I guess I didn't have any thoughts on that, just going by what they felt like. Did they give any
Yep.
more information other than at the tech committee?
Not much, yeah.
Okay. And those are some things that if we wanted to hold off on, I know that we see a bid in there from Soren to get everything wired up and get the projector in the ceiling.
Yep.
And that way it doesn't have to be a cart, setting it up, like you said, right, so.
And that way you don't have cords running on the floors.
Right.
It's all, I kind of agree with Daniel there a little bit that it isn't that big of a room where I think you would need screens on the side.
Right.
If you needed to, maybe get a bigger one up front or something. I don't think we need to have two screens up in that room downstairs. And once you have tables in there,
Right, and yeah, it just,
Okay,
but
and so, yeah, I don't know if she would want us to hold off and talk to her, get her opinion on that, or if,
we can hold off on the TVs if
Maybe.
we're so inclined just to
Yeah.
go ahead with the other renovations for now and then figure out, because the TVs are gonna qualify for any purchasing anyway. I mean,
Sure.
they're, what,
Yeah.
$500 a
Yep.
piece with brackets, 600.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Is this room about the same size as downstairs?
Square footage wise,
Square
it's a
footage.
little bit smaller, it's just different, obviously,
I
different
just wondered, we only
dimensions.
have one TV here. I don't know whether we need two TVs
Right.
down there. Or we can buy a big screen.
that room downstairs, I feel it's deeper,
Right.
longer than this one. Yeah.
And we can do it, like I say, if we wanna hold off on the TVs right now and just do the major.
Oh, but, you know, if you're gonna spend ARPA funds for it, I think you gotta do it now. No more comment.
Get her done.
Anything else? Rex, did you have a comment you wanted to kick in?
Just, you're talking about.
So what happens when you raise your hand?
Yeah.
I gotta get up here where I can hear what he says.
As far as making a comment about the size of the TV.
Yep.
Our fire department in Waco, I don't know the dimensions of the room. We basically have 4 sets of tables with chairs. And yes, our screen that we have when we do training is, I'd say at least a foot bigger than what this one is. And yeah, the guys in the back of the room can see that size. Yeah, I would question, with some of the training that we've had, that this size would be sufficient.
Right.
So just,
well, and the TVs will be secondary because we've got a projector down there already that'll be in the front, so this would be towards the back. So yeah, I kinda think that one would be sufficient.
yeah, when we used a projector,
Mm-hmm.
we had a 60-inch widescreen,
Okay, yep.
so just,
Okay, thanks, Rex. Well, if we wanted to, like I say, if we wanted to hold off on the TVs for now, they're the minimum part. I know that there was a time frame out on the other, it seemed to me the last time we talked, it was 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere in there on the tables and chairs. And I believe the flooring is end of June, when flooring is gonna be available,
I was
so.
just gonna ask her, is there, before we start piling a bunch of furniture in there, is like, anything else need to be walls painted, floor, carpet
Painted,
replaced?
walls were painted
When we
when
moved
we
out.
exited, and then
Okay.
this one, the flooring will be, like I say, end of June.
Okay.
Anything else? I don't know, if Leela's watching, yes,
What kind of flooring were you gonna put in there?
just carpet,
Carpet?
yes.
Okay. I was gonna
That's
say, if you-
squares like what's in here.
You talked about tile before. in
Tile's the break room,
I
yeah.
was gonna say there'd be a lot of echoing if there was tile.
Carpet. I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the upgrades to the room in the basement with the exception of the purchase of a TV. So approve the bids for the furniture and
Okay,
IT support for that room,
thank you. Kurt,
audio items.
and this, your recommendation for funding?
Jack said ARPA, so
Okay,
we'll go with ARPA.
Can't use it for anything else.
you getting all that down, all right?
Yeah.
Still waiting for a second. Okay, I don't do it.
I'll second
I
it.
was gonna say, I don't do very often, but I can. Okay, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Holgren,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Bonsfer,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
and Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay, next, Leila was gonna get here to walk us through this, so I'll do the best I can. This is a transfer that we need to take place. This was the original money that was in the construction fund. And when last year, her budget ran out of budget authority to buy the radios.
Yep.
Then we had to pay for it out of here, and then we just need to get this money transferred back. So as you can see, it's coming from the 2910, that's Leila's budget. It's going into 2940, and then it needs to end up back in inheritance. And so that is 2,700. So as you read through that,
It makes sense.
it makes sense. There was also a small number, $62.18, that's already been taken care of, that rounds out and then that fund will be completely empty. It was once we do this. So that will be the 86,706 going back into the inheritance from 2910 by route of 2940. Clear?
It's a resolution.
It is by resolution.
Oh, it is. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd make that motion to do it.
Thank you, Bill.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jack. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Bonsfer,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Holgren,
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes. We got just about 5 minutes yet before, I don't think that's gonna be enough for the 4th Street, before Board of Equalization. So discuss an act on drawdown number 3 for owner-occupied, housing project. Kelly, you got anything to say on that one?
Sam did send me a picture of one of the houses that's completed, so it's on, I just got that. So if you guys wanna come over and look on my emails to see it.
Okay.
It just shows like, I think this house got new siding and a roof maybe.
Okay,
They just sent a picture this morning about that.
so they're working their way through.
Yeah, they're working, he thought, Brian talked to me Friday, I think, and they think by 2023, they should have all of that money taken care of. It's really going quite smoothly, he said.
Okay. So-
And it is in the, vendor claims, we did put that in the vendor claims as payments.
Any other questions?
I just have a quick question on the admin time, and is that all is part of the reimbursements? Is that correct, that we get from the state? That we're, so what we're paying Send for the record keeping and whatnot, that we're getting reimbursed for that also?
We had to put in the 50,000, and they've
Okay.
already paid that. So
Yep.
now all of this is that 500,000. That's,
Right.
as soon as we get that money, then we can pay those bills.
Okay.
So it's all just a
Pass through.
pass-through
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Perfect.
Our cost share,
Yep.
the 10%.
Yep.
Was effectively what they felt like was their shared amount for running it, the
Okay,
project
right,
for us.
yep, yep.
Our clerk does quite a bit
Right,
to
yep.
make sure the project goes through.
Yep.
That's not reimbursed.
No.
you know, Just
Right.
the projects themselves.
Yep, okay, cool. I would make a motion to approve the drawdown number 3 on the owner occupied housing project.
Thank you, Daniel.
Second.
Thank you, Jack. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Bosworth.
Yes.
Holgren,
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay, we got just a couple minutes for Ann's, but we're not gonna tackle anything else, because I don't think either one is gonna allow that much time, so we're gonna recess right now as the Board of Commissioners. We will open up the Board of Equalization at 10 o'clock, so we got a couple minutes.
On your owner occupied, is that a project that needs a building permit?
Do you have a minute?
In the cities, it would, yeah,
Okay, and did they get a building permit?
that would,
I can give you the gentleman's name that you can contact.
I would assume that if they're doing a project in the, city of York, you know, like siding and roofing and stuff like that, they'd be getting,
That's why I was kind of sitting here wondering too, is that, how does that affect the value of those buildings, or, because I know there's some programs in that, you have to value different, you assess the values differently because of the
Only if they're
program that
tax
it's in.
incentive or
Yeah.
rent restricted,
Right,
but they still have to get a building permit.
putting on a deck or windows or roof or whatever.
do you see all the building permits for the city of
Most
York?
generally I do, yes.
Yeah, I'd say 50.
I'll check when I get back to the office, and I'll get that name from you.
Do the other smaller communities within our county, do they operate
Yeah.
the same way?
And I've got 78%.
Yeah, they send them
battery,
to
so
me.
I mean, that's plenty of time.
Sometimes I have to
And
request
We
them.
went down to
Okay.
the bottom level down there to get to.
All these,
Right,
all these
yeah,
projects
the little
in the county, not in the city.
window.
What, I'm sorry?
Aren't all these projects in the county? and
They're in the
not
municipalities of the
This
county,
is totally different than the
As-
Microsoft
as
plan that they put on.
Mr. Boger has pointed out on a few occasions, they are not rural in nature,
It did ruin my computer.
but that wasn't our rules.
Yeah, and that was about a $2,500 computer that I bought back then.
Right.
Since the board decided to get us into this
This
mess.
is
we decided to go
a
along with
different,
this.
different, newer version.
Yeah, it must be different operating.
I just like everybody gives little zingers anymore.
I always reserve the right.
Yeah, nobody took it away from you.
Nope, not yet.
Oh, I got 10 o'clock. Okay, it is 10 o'clock, so we will convene as the Board of Equalization. Roll call, please.
Rhodes,
Present.
Baldwin,
Present.
Baumgartner,
President?
Sykes,
Present.
Obermeyer.
Present. Open meetings law is posted on the south side of our chambers. In the hallway outside of our chambers is also on our website. Proof of publication was in the News Times June 9th. That is also on our website. We do have to figure out about that too. Apparently it's still saying Zoom. The meeting in the paper is still saying Zoom. Jack had seen that, so we need to make sure we look into that.
Yep.
Review and approve the minutes of May 31st Board of Equalization meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Bill. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes, adopt today's agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move that we adopt the agenda for the York County Board of Equalization for Tuesday, June 14th, 2022 at 10 a.m.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Stand up there. Any discussion? Roll call.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes, discuss and act on tax roll corrections.
Okay, we have two tax roll corrections, both of them belonging to 605 Properties LLC, which bought a couple of buildings from Mr. Weber. They are, when the bill of sale came through, it said 182,000, and the clerk in my office that was handling real estate, that they assumed that was 182 for each, where it was only 182 for both. So the valuations had to be changed because the value that was determined as market value was incorrect. And so we had to remove value.
Okay.
And so this is a valuation change only, not a money change. We had to lower the value on one property, $42,046, and on the other one, $53,464.
Okay.
Okay?
Any questions of Ann on this? I'm guessing Mr. Weber would have liked the 182 apiece.
Yes. He did well.
Gentlemen?
I would make a motion to approve the tax roll corrections as presented by the York County Assessor.
Thank you, Daniel.
Second.
Thank you, Jack. Any discussion? Roll call.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Baldwin,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay. And did you have anything else?
Yes. We have a property visit that we need to do for protest purposes. It's in Benedict, and it is the church that was rehabbed. And they would like to have somebody come up and look at the inside of the property before they file their protest. So I would like to have a commissioner go along with my lister to view the inside of the building
Okay.
tomorrow morning at 9:30. Before it gets to be 106.
Okay.
So.
I'm
any
assuming it's not air
volunteers?
conditioned?
What's that?
Any volunteers?
I'll look to the commissioner whose district it is first.
In Benedict.
He knows who he is.
Little bit.
Okay.
Is that too early? Is that coffee time? Can you adjust it?
It is.
Well, that's what I say. Is it?
Well, I have to call her and so we can set a
Be
time.
there at 9:30?
Yes, at Benedict. Do you know where I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know where it's at.
Okay. I have another problem. The chief of the fire department at Henderson called me about the motel on the interstate. They have their parking lot full of campers, and there are no hookups at that property for campers, electric, sewer, or water. When I went over and looked at the property, those trailer houses are all uninhabitable. They are being destroyed or fixed or whatever they're
One's
in.
laying on the side.
Yes, right. And they are all in bad shape. Now, that property does not have a permit for that type of project that I know of. So do I turn this over to the zoning administrator? Who is who?
I would turn it over to the county attorney's office.
Okay.
Is that in York County zoning jurisdiction, or is that in the city of Henderson?
It's in York County zoning
Okay.
system.
The interstate, yeah, because their,
It's beyond
their
1 mile.
bubble is
Beyond,
1
okay, I
mile.
wasn't sure where the city limit was there, okay.
City only has 1 mile. Second class city.
Okay,
That's all I have for today.
that was a lot.
Yes, I know. I have 3 protests filed.
And just inform everybody, when is the protest hearings?
The protest hearings will be the 28th.
So far, because they have until,
We have that date set aside. If we have to have another, we'll have one in July.
Okay.
they have till June 30 to file those, right?
Okay.
Am I gonna meet you up there, or you gonna?
You can meet me up, you can meet us
All
up
right.
there.
I'll be there.
Point of clarification at the Henderson exit, were they campers or were they mobile homes?
They're mobile homes.
Mobile
Or
homes.
campers, they're campers.
Okay, like pull behind?
Full kind,
Okay.
drive kind,
Okay,
both kind.
all right.
But none of them looked to me like they were habitable.
Hmm.
And only 2 were licensed.
How about the one that sits out there, what is it? Across the interstate. It don't look inhabitable either. It's been there for
No,
a year almost.
and it probably has no value.
We good?
That's it.
All right. We're gonna adjourn as Board of Equalization, and then we will jump back up as the Board of Commissioners and discuss an act on East 4th Street from Main Avenue to Road N. Come back. And put this on the agenda to figure out just where we want to go with this. As we talked about it briefly at our last meeting, and I will tell you that one property owner is here. I talked to the city, has got the other part on the north side. I did talk to the property owner, which is on the south side, southeast corner, and I guess he feels like that we have not been very accommodating. He just soon put up a roadblock. I advised him probably not to do that, just because putting up a roadblock on what is a road, you could get some trouble. So waiting to hear what we decide in this meeting as we go forth. Did everybody have an opportunity to go out there and take a look and know kind of where we're at on things? Regardless of, I guess, what we do on the east end of that property, or that that road. To me, the west end, we still have to get right. I mean, it still doesn't appear to be in the right area. And Rex, can you talk to that briefly? I know you said this is the third time that, over the years, that you have surveyed it, starting back to 1980. If everybody went out and drove it, you know, you take a little swagger when you leave Maine to the south, and then you come to the box culvert, and you swag back to the north and back, you know, south. And so Rex did look at this for us.
I did make one for everybody, but that's. It doesn't show up well on here, but the, what I have marked in red on there is all basically city-owned or controlled. They either have deed to it or it is dedicated right-of-way. The dedicated right-of-way is that kind of parcel in the middle there, south. That was platted and had to be approved by the city because it was inside of their jurisdiction, and they were required to dedicate 30 feet of roadway. Now, the old easement that was granted decades ago was for 2 rods, 33 feet. So, the west end of that, that's in the west half of the section, the city was deeded the 33 feet. So on that south side, going that far, there's 2 different widths. The city also, that acreage that's there in the corner towards the west end, the city also purchased the south part of that for road.
And that's where we see the figure .134
Yes,
acres.
yes.
Okay. So those are partial road.
Yes. Well, yes, those were, they weren't an open road. There was an existing, because of the easement that was granted, it's just become a traveled road. If you care, I tried to find it this morning and I know there is a statute, or used to be a statute, that if a trail or pathway was used by the public for more than 10 years, it could be designated as a public road, or it would become a public road. So so I don't know what else, I guess.
Well, I know that as we met out there that day, part of the conversation we talked about was, well, you know, this isn't a section mile.
No.
And this is, you know, a half section mile or whatever you want to talk about it. But as I drove the county, all of our communities have got roads like this.
Yes.
I mean, Gresham has got it to the south side. I believe Henderson's got a road that comes out the north side. Benedict has one go out the north side. Waco comes out the south side. And those all do end up same way in a dead end because they're not section lines.
Yes.
And are those, I mean, through all your surveying and different things, are those 66 feet wide, normal county roads? They're just arteries to the communities, right?
Yes. Yes. The one on the north side of Henderson was, I believe that one was opened using that statute, saying it was declared a public road. The one on that goes east on the south side of Gresham was opened as a county road by the county 1940s maybe. It's been there for, there used to be a road that crossed the railroad tracks there in Waco that went east, and there again, that had been opened as a county road. So
Right. McCool's got one that goes north out of it. I mean, I think all of our communities have got arterial roads that are say, traditional
Right.
section mile lines, and/or around our creek bottoms. The same thing happens around the creek bottoms. They're non-traditional. They usually end up in a dead end or something like that somewhere. So there obviously would be some statute that we could utilize for those type of roads. Regardless, we need to get the road in the right place, whatever we decide we want to do. Now, that road, as you're saying, half of it is basically, the west half is taken care of. On the south side, there is nothing on the north side to accommodate the rest of the county road. So we would,
That's under private ownership, and there's no dedication or anything on it. I did not check when the county put that box culvert in. It's just west of the quarter section line, and I didn't see what kind of agreement that they worked out with the owners to the north then. Before we met the other day out there, I did look, and the box culvert is built relatively close to the center line, or to the quarter section line. It looked like the center of the box was only like 3 feet south of the quarter section line. So where the box is, the road goes back to the north 8-10 feet, and then comes back to the south as it goes on up the hill. So if you decide to build a 33 feet each side of the quarter section line, that box culvert's gonna be extremely close to being in the center of the road.
where it's supposed to be anyway.
Hold on a second. I have the GIS site up here.
What, out as you're surveying and looking at other roads and whatnot, obviously this road is laying quite a ways south of the line. Are there other, like, you drive around the county and roads curve this way and that way all over the place, and so, but, like, in those places, are they, I guess, how do those curvy roads work that are
They were-
established out
I'm
there?
gonna say they were petitioned opened,
Mm-hmm,
and the public typically came in and petitioned for a road to be built. Because it's not practical to put it on the section line,
sure.
that they, basically the county had the surveyor go down and survey a center line.
Yep.
And then they opened the road up 33 feet each side of that line.
Okay, yep.
Any other questions for Rex as he's sitting here? I know that,
I think you did a good survey there, but now this little line around, little square here on the west side of that, mark there, that's Caslon's property, correct?
The city purchased the south 30-some feet of their property for the,
And the city limits line is right to the back side of their property line,
yes,
correct?
yes.
From that point on out to Road N, that's owned by two different people.
Yes,
One of them is the Bloom Brothers, correct?
Showing up on
they
your-
own on the south
On
side.
the south side, and who owns it on the north side?
The north side, the northeast quarter is owned by the city of York. And that east half northwest quarter is owned by, I think it's, Grotz's.
Okay. Those are questions I wondered for you. I wanted to ask Harvey some questions.
So,
I do have a question for Rex.
if you want to come up, Dwayne, that'd be great, just so we,
Yeah. Dwayne Gross.
Thank you.
Is the line where the city bought, that they've acquired from Caslon, how does that line up with the north side of where the road would be?
where it would be,
Yeah, if it was process to make it a normal road?
Same place.
If that line on Caslon's property is equal to the
There's-
line that would be on the
Well,
county road?
where the road goes past Caslon's place, the road is still south of the quarter section.
And I understand that, but what you say,
It
the
does.
city has
Yep.
purchased
Yep.
some of that
Yes.
already.
Yes,
So when you continue that line on, is that straight?
yes.
By the way I look at it, and I'm not a surveyor by any means, not a lot of things, but, looking at that property that the city purchased, if you kind of follow a straight line, it runs right on the north side of that existing road. Is that,
Yes.
and so it would be further, if you go on further east then, down where, because it takes another little jaunt to the south, it's almost, like maybe another half a road width between the existing road and probably where the road actually should be. Would that be kind of Rex, your,
The GIS drawing is not accurate. The quarter section line, in the east half mile is basically right at the north edge of what is graded, or the driven road. The ditch is actually, what little ditch there is actually in the quarter to the north. When you get to Dwayne's property, like I said, the box culvert was built to the north, and I'm not sure, I didn't look back to see if the county had an agreement.
Is that where the well field is for the city?
Yes,
So that's, when they opened that up, they opened up a box of worms, I can tell you that, when they opened that up, because ever since they opened that up, the city water smells terrible up on that side. Sometimes it smells like rotten eggs, and sometimes it smells really bad. That's beyond the point. But also, if you look to the north of that, if you look directly north of that, is the ballpark. Okay, and I know there was some comments made about that time about the possibility of opening a road from there to Nobes Road to relieve the traffic problems on 12th Street. And I don't know whether this being brought up now has anything to do with that or not, and who would benefit on moving that road around for, I think Harvey made an estimate of $140,000, $145,000 to do that. Who would benefit from doing that? Bob George used to own the property east of there. Okay, I can remember as a kid back in the bug and horse days, walking that path when it was nothing more than a horse path. So it's been there for a long, long time. I think Harvey told me when I talked to him that it's been on the 1 and 6 year plan ever since he's been hired, which was around nine years for us. So all of a sudden, why is this being brought up to remove that road? Just a question.
I'm not bringing it up to remove it. I'm bringing it up to get it in the right place.
I meant
That-
moved it, whether it's in the right place or the wrong place. And you guys just sit over there and talk about how many other roads in this county are the same thing.
Well, we don't know that, do we?
When we
Well,
find
that's
them
what
out,
you
we
said.
rectify the problem.
Yeah,
For instance, when we
half
had the Road H up there, when we redid that road, we found out that it wasn't center line. We rectified that problem. When we find them, it's best to fix them, not just walk down the road and say, well, we ain't gonna do nothing, because now this road is actually on somebody's not private property. I guess that's another question that we have. Are we seeing, on the section mile lines, we see non-taxed on a road? You get the 33 feet on your side, you're non-taxed. Is this road the same way? I mean, that it's not platted, it's probably not that way, I would assume.
what the city has purchased,
That probably is, but the north side wouldn't be.
like I say, what the city has purchased, I doubt it is taxed.
Right.
I'd have to ask, you'd have to ask Ann, the part that Bloom owns, because it's not an open road, I'm guessing he's taxed
On all of it,
on all of it.
right.
The,
Okay. So I guess the answer to your question, Jack, was it's just a matter of getting it right. Whether we close it, whether we leave it open, we have to have half of it open. Because of the it's actually Babcocks that live out there now. We have to, supply them a road.
Well, Bob George is the one that first built the house out there in that location. I don't know whether he had permission to do that or not at the time, but he did.
Mhm.
And then his son put a trailer house out there on that property at that time, which wasn't plotted either.
Yes.
So,
We talked about it this morning when we thought they were visiting with Harvey. And I guess I'd really like to have Harvey come up and give his recommendation as far as a highway superintendent on what he feels would be the best and the cheapest and the most worthwhile.
Sure, and I'm sure he'll get to it. Dwayne, did you have anything else?
Well, I do. I have another question. The city purchased that along the edge of Caslon. Have you talked to the city? Why did they do that?
I haven't talked to him why
Are
they
they
did
thinking
it.
of lengthening that street? And if they are, why not let them spend the money to do it?
They're probably only gonna do anything
Are
where they
Are
have,
they wanting to make a street to the end of Caslon? Because you're gonna have to get permission from them if you're gonna change that road there too.
right, that would have to be part of it, right.
I can answer a fraction of that question. Is the city purchased the south side of their property the same time they purchased the west side for Main Avenue. So I don't know if they were thinking at that time. I just know it was included, that was all in the same deed, the south side and the west side of their property.
Okay.
The, Jack, as to going back to your horse and buggy, that easement across the north side of the southeast border was created in a deed in 1909. So,
I wasn't very old.
so anyway, the easement was created for the people that live along there to cross that 33 feet of ground.
and that was on which section?
It's in the southeast quarter of that section, the north side of the road that's there.
Okay.
So it's been probably used as a road as a driveway since 1909.
I will say that, like, coming into our property where we farm it, we come in from the east through that road, just for the simple fact of keeping machinery out of town. It's not that I can't go through town, but it would cause
Right.
that if that's closed.
And
And
then-
I'll tell you, I don't have a lot of opinion either way. I would have more opinion on how the road goes in if it gets changed. I'd want a little
Right.
input in that, but, and the only thing to keep it open from the east would be for machinery travel, because it is bringing everything through town at that
Right.
point.
And-
Which we can't do.
Right, sure. And then not only for you, but across the road, some of some of it's been developed closer to, Nose Road, but there's still agriculture on the piece directly across
There is.
that road
Yeah.
that machinery would come in
Yeah.
that road as
But
well.
that's the other thought too, is that they'll probably both be developed someday, south and north. So is it better to create it now, a street there just to start with?
And what we would, I assume by looking at the map I'm looking at, when you have acres, when I got .134 and .872, so those combined acres, or that number, roughly an acre, is how it would affect you on your property.
Yeah.
The 33 feet, something like that. So it isn't, I can see where you're coming from, it's not live or die on that one
No,
acre.
it's not something I wanna make a big deal about, but, I guess I would like a little input on
I
how the road goes
I
in
don't
if it
blame
happens,
you, I
know?
don't blame you.
But I wanna work with you however it goes,
Okay.
whatever you just said.
It's, from his comment, I would guess it would be a question for your county attorney. The easement that's on there for people for the person that lives there, he has the right to use that road. No one else in the public does. So theoretically, he is trespassing when he uses that road,
And everybody else that,
and everybody else does. I don't know, I've heard one comment, I don't know if there's any truth to it. When they opened the ball fields up out there, that when there's games out there, that half the people or a lot of the people that go to the ball field use that road.
Road end?
Yeah, this
Fourth
road
and-
here that
and
you're
no,
talking about.
I don't know that Fourth Street is used as much, and undoubtedly it is used,
Oh, yeah.
undoubtedly.
So theoretically, all the people that are using it are trespassing. I mean, you know, that's the, if you open it as a road, then the public is free of that
Right.
liability.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Point of clarification there, Rex, who has the legal authority to use that road then? Are it the individuals that reside in that little acreage there?
Yes.
No, it's parcel 29550. Is that it? On the south side of that
And
road?
anybody that's owns ground that transpires further down from those deeds that were granted easements to use it would be the only ones that have. Since the city purchased the west quarter mile of it, they have people using it, but there again, it's city owned and they, you know, they don't have it as an open road, so.
Okay. Daniel?
I have a question, and this, we had asked Harvey to come up, so this might tie into his, but I'm just wondering, we've got an established roadbed there. We don't have the correct right-of-ways to be driving on it. We've heard about that if we drive on it, technically we're trespassing. But, what would be the thoughts, or what would be the option of, and I guess, or the ramifications of just leaving it where it's at? But where I'm going with this is leaving it where it's at and obtaining the necessary right-of-ways for the road as it sets. I don't know, and I know we've talked about, you know, we should get it right, but knowing that, you know, maybe someday the city will come in and build their own street, is that, you know, are we spending a lot of money for, there was a comment made of, where's this gonna go? And so I think that's an option that I would like explored, at least to see if it's an option. Do you have thoughts on that, Harvey? You can disagree, it's fine.
My thought is leave the road alone as it is, since there is a base there, since there is easements to get the people on the south side of the road there. Close the road at the end of the trees, put a end of road, put a road closed, or a dead end road at Main Street, and give the city a narrow approach down to their well, give them an access off of Road N further north, and take the one off of Road N that goes on to 4th Street, take it completely out, and it would save the county a lot of money.
Right.
We could do that for roughly $5,000, where you're looking at $145,000 to move it over and set it on the line.
Right. Rex, remind me again, the deed for access. I'm not following where that.
To which parcel?
Well, you said that there was an easement, given on the, was it the southeast?
Southeast quarter.
So.
East half mile, south side.
Okay.
There was also one given across the that quarter mile to the west
Okay,
on the south side. So
Okay.
that easement ran through that 3/4 of a mile on the south side.
okay. And so the easement stops, it's on the southeast quarter, but it stops at those trees and does not continue on to Road Inn, or it
Yes,
does
there's
continue?
easements were granted all the way from Main Avenue to Road Inn.
Okay, so, right, so technically there is access all the way from Main to Inn. So if we
For one
close
family.
that, right, exactly. And so if we close that and blocked off Road Inn, technically we can't really actually even do that because we'd be we'd be hindering a established deed. Would that be correct? Right,
And
yeah,
it's
so
not-
really.
It's not a deed, it's a right.
Or a right of way, right. So if we dig up the road and put a blockade there and don't allow anybody to come down that, technically we have to allow those two residents there access down that lane.
Okay, go ahead, Kirk.
The county surveyor brought up the possibility of some sort of statute out there that kind of in layman's terms, if there's already an existing path, it just becomes a road. I think maybe we need to get some legal advice from our county attorney as to, does that statute actually exist, one. Two, kind of like what Daniel was saying, what could be done just to, to Harbor's point too, keep the road where it's at. Why pick up a road and move it over, 15, 20 foot, just, when that's not very logical in my mind, to do something like that. But, and this same time too, do we have any traffic counts on this road? I think before we go spending a lot of money, I'd wanna know how much traffic's actually going down that road. I do know that I went down there, it was kind of shortly after rain on the east end of that road there. If there was a ditch there, it's long gone. There's water, you can see where there's water going across the road there, so it's gonna need some work if we do keep that section open there too. But I think we could sit here for the next 10 hours and talk about what's going on with that road, but until we have a lawyer tell us what's going on with it, then I think we have a better idea of how to move forward.
Because if we do keep it open, it's got drainage issues. And that's the problem with the landowner on the southeast side. It's got drainage issues and
Randy?
yes,
You'd have to declare it open.
declare it open.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think,
It's, as I understand, the county guys have been maintaining it,
For years.
so but there again, it's not, never been declared an open road, so, and there again, yield to Harvey, the question about leaving it where it's at. If you open the road, then the standards for ditches, everything else would have to be complied
Sure.
with. So, yeah, you've got a hard question here.
Well, and I think there's an additional one too, is if, for instance, if you did close it, you got that easement to deal with. And then, do we have the road itself to deal with? Because we put all this material on somebody's property, are we gonna have to remove that? If I'm the landowner out there, I'm thinking, I can't farm that, Do we have to spend time and money to get that material out of there?
Somebody's been taking pretty good care of that road because it's got white rock down the road halfway, or not halfway, but quite a ways. And then it's gravel from there to N Street. So somebody's been taking care of that road for a long time.
well, that brings up a good point. If part of this road's on someone's private property, and so could they say, get off my land, and so then we don't have a choice, we gotta move the road over, or we just Or, you know, but if there is that statute out there that says we can use it as a road, then do we have to reimburse that landowner for that?
To kind of address both of your comments or questions, the farmer cannot tear the road out because there's an easement for the road there. So he can't tear out that north 33 feet and farm it.
I think it'd be helpful for this board too, to know for each parcel on that road, connected to that road, who has an easement. I think, not now, we don't need that information now, but in the future, because we're gonna discuss this again, you know, who all has legal authority, or who all has
The only
easement
ones
here.
that be those two residents, they're
Okay,
west part of the southeast quarter.
okay.
When the, I don't know if it's Kendra, when they deeded that west quarter mile of it to the city, there again, it's deeded, they deeded that, what was an easement, they deeded that easement to the city. So the city has the north 33 feet. So, you know, it's kind of the city's option whether they want to open up, declare that as an open road. So, and as far as the east half mile with the city on the north side, they're using about 700 feet of that drive, which would be trespassing for them to get to their well building.
Right.
So whether you build a full-size road, you know, get an agreement with the city to open a road across their property and build a full-size road for only that section.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I wondered, you had made the comment about like finding out who has access or whatnot. Could you get us a copy of the easements and whatnot that you found?
Yeah, I guess I don't have the current deeds to the owners that are there.
Okay.
The easements would be inside of their deeds, but.
Sure.
But otherwise, yeah, you're going back to 1909.
Right. Yep.
And the easements were created then.
Yep.
And they've been in all subsequent deeds since then.
Okay. Yep. Perfect. I wondered if maybe our next steps, you had mentioned traffic counts. I think it would be a good idea to have some idea of what traffic is using this non-road. And then I think we should direct the county attorney to look into that statute that was mentioned and come back to us with some recommendations on the legal side of this.
Do we have the ability, Harvey, to do a traffic count? I know the state puts them up throughout the county at times. Do we have the ability to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess I would pose the question, do you want to do two?
Yeah, I think.
One on each
But-
end.
Yeah, I guess say,
Yeah, I think that would definitely be good. This was a discuss and act. Do you want a motion to direct some of that stuff?
Well, I've got a question written here for Gary.
Okay.
So, and, I mean, we can just do
Yep.
we can do the traffic counts on there. What we would need now is just a motion, if we're done discussing, a motion to postpone
action
for the time being until we have more information. Have one more
just
thing to add?
one other comment, you know, I guess you probably need to have discussion with the city of York to see what interest they have in opening up that as a road. And if they'll financially contribute to it.
I mean, they know I've had discussions with the mayor about what we were gonna talk about here, so they know what's going on, just not all that
Yeah.
detail.
Well, basically, the city of York has ownership, control of half of that entire road. Like I said,
They got the south
South.
half of the west end and the north half of the east end.
East end, so theoretically, they have control of 50% of all of it.
Okay.
I do have another question. What happens if that's a private easement? Do you have to obtain access through the private easement for that half if you determine a road? Or is that already counted?
If you wanted to drive in, theoretically, you would have to get an easement from Blooms for the east half mile. The strip that's across the north side of where George's was, that's dedicated road, so yeah, anybody can use that.
But if it becomes a county road, does the county have to purchase that easement from those owners? Since it was a private easement before.
It falls underneath of the statute for opening a road. 39-1701, maybe somewhere in there. That's for opening a road. Now, declaring a road by use, that falls in a different statute, I think. That's not my field, I just,
The county attorney can answer that.
Yeah.
That might be a simpler
Right.
solution rather than having to buy both sides of the road. I
Right,
mean, I'm
yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
Pain on my end. as far as
Right.
that goes.
But yeah, no, I think that can help us once the county attorney reviews those statutes and kind of give us a better idea.
Okay.
I think there's a logical way to resolve this issue,
Agree.
so
I agree.
I think we can get it done.
And that's the only reason I brought it forward is just, we need to get it done.
Yep.
Like you said, these
Yep.
problems come up, we tackle them as they do, so.
That's the other thing, can you do a study on a private trail?
Stop throwing wrenches in this thing.
I don't know, I just wonder.
You mean traffic count?
Traffic
Right, yeah.
You can on my end as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and I'm thinking the first statute that Rex is bringing up, that if it has been used for a particular use for so many years, does it just kind of, I mean, that's the one that
It's
we're
an
really gonna.
assumed property line.
That would
after 10 years.
simplify your whole problem.
I apologize, I couldn't find it.
We'll have Gary look into it.
But I know it was used to open that road up going north out of Henderson.
Okay.
And it's like adverse possession, 10 years is the time limit.
It's an assumed property. If there's somebody's taking care of that property for 10 years, that's the property line is assumed.
Yeah,
That
there's-
used to be the case.
Yeah, there's,
I had to deal with that in the city.
yeah,
Okay, so it might be different than in the county.
no. You have to go to court to quiet the title, but,
Well, we have a county attorney now.
so,
That one,
Let's go ask him.
one north out of Henderson. See, how many years ago was it? We pretty well put an end to that thing about just past the last residence. And the rest of it, I think, reverted back to the property owner. And it don't go all the way to Road 8. It don't go to 8. It stops about past the co-op.
okay.
And then there's two more residents down there, and then it just shuts off.
I guess it's my mistake if the county or the Henderson isn't using it, but they had talked to about open it, they questioned, having it declared an open road, because there again, just like this road, everybody that lives northwest of town was using that road to come into town.
Not anymore.
Okay.
Okay. So at this time, then entertain a motion to postpone any action till we get some further details.
I would make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Daniel.
Second?
Thank you, Kurt. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Brooks.
Yes.
Holgren.
Yes.
Osberger.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes, I will talk to Gary about that. Thanks for showing up.
Thank you.
Dwayne. On to the last, discuss and act transfer budget authority. We did, and you guys will have access, obviously. We got hot off the press numbers last night. It was roughly 10 to 5 when I picked them up. I spent the evening going through the numbers. The one budget that I found in most dire need was the, right, all that, there we go. County jail, which was 671. If we look at the end of May numbers that we have here, is 36,000 is what it was in the hole at the end of May, 36,147.40. We had payroll at the end of May, which was $23,071.81. We had payroll this time, which was $24,279.89. And then we also had vendor claims this time of $40,022.24 for a grand whopping total of $123,521.34 is what I have.
Is that just end of May or is that so far?
That would be vendor claim and payroll through today, which should be the end. Because the vendor claims for the end of the month will be paid at the first of the budget year next year. So I would feel good with a little bit of breathing room this was math I did last night. It was good in shape last night, but it's still math I did last night. 130,000 cushion would be nice.
Somewhere to.
Okay, so I come up with three of them last night. Data, which was 610, has got a surplus. I would recommend that we take 40 out of there. Miscellaneous has got 60-some thousand. I would recommend 50 out of there. County building, which is 980, had 119, I think, something like that, and I would recommend a 40 out of there. So that would be a grand total of $130,000 coming out of three individuals, just in case. And the reason I picked three is in case there was something that I didn't see that leaves plenty in their budget, should give plenty in the jail's budget. We will have the meeting at the end of the month to clarify if we have to do more, once we have more time to review the vendor claims. I tried to go through the vendor claims and look through the rest of it last night. And there's a couple, one being the handy bus. Right now, the budget should be right at that 92%. It was at 94%. It didn't have much for claims this time. It had $1,100 in vendor claims this time. I'm not sure what payroll is, so Cheryl was going to be working up payroll for me on that. They had $12,000 left as of the end of May.
Is that again?
That's a handy bus.
Is that, did fuel just kick their butt?
I would assume towards the end that that's what's really come on and got them. We do have a couple other non-general funds, but I believe that we'll be able to do some journal entries to clear those up so we do not have to open the budget up on those. Everything else looked to be, I mean, we've got some funds that are, for instance, county attorneys is 92%. Kelly's is 91%. I mean, so they're there, they should be good.
Yep.
They look like there's plenty there, but we'll be able to monitor after we see these vendor claims and see payroll and stuff like that too. So that would be the main one that we need, I'd like to get taken care of. And for obvious reasons, you know, it is over. We still house 20 plus outside our jail.
That number should be getting better.
It's gonna take time.
Right.
But that we're confident
Well,
that it should get better.
And I like doing this today because like you said, we have that one last meeting this fiscal year in case we
Right,
need to, we miss something or.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
I would make a motion, Mr. Chairman. Do you need that by resolution?
Yes.
To,
Okay.
to
No,
make the
go ahead, go ahead.
Resolution to make the transfers as recommended.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Bill. Jack, did you have something to add?
No, I started to, and I thought, no, just shut up.
Okay. Is there any other discussion that we'd like to add to this one? That's really the only one right now that I'm very concerned about. Roll call, please.
Holmgren.
Yes.
Bosworth.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Obenauer.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
You know, the finance committee is gonna have really a hard time determining the cost of gasoline for the next year's budget, I might think we should buy maybe a fleet of electric police cars. Teslas are good, they get 300 miles.
Right.
The deputies can drive 490 or 390 or whatever, and then go park it. Gonna have to have a lot of extension cords.
With you talking about your horse and buggy days, I thought maybe you was gonna bring up mounted patrol.
That's fine, but horses eat.
Be a great day to be on the back of a horse too today, wouldn't it?
Okay, we are at the end. Committee reports, anybody would like to start? Daniel?
So, by CDC, we had an exec meeting. They're focused on housing and childcare. So there's a great need for housing, and there's the study they did, I think it's somewhere around 300 some kids that need a place for daycare. So there's some discussions, there's a committee that's been spun up to try and look at building a community-owned daycare center. So if anybody feels like they want to be on that committee, they'd be happy to have some input. They hired so Derek left here a few months ago, and so they've hired a new coordinator to work with Lisa. Emily, I believe is her name, and she seems to be working good. Computers are here, so we can talk about those after the meeting and get everybody on their new computers so they can have good access to all our documents. Hopefully they will serve us for many years to come. That's all I have.
Kurt?
We will have a Blue Valley Community Action Meeting on June 21st. That's in Crete, and there's also a option to participate in that virtually. Send will have a Board of Directors meeting this month on June 23. That is typically in Lincoln. And then I did not make it to the County Board Workshop last week. I don't think any of us did. But, I don't know if you guys have noticed NACO's new website. Go ahead and take some time to tool around on that thing. They do have on there a lot of their slides, presentations that they have at their workshops. I've been looking at that postcard one. There's some good resources there on that one too. So if you guys have a minute, if you don't want to tool around on other sites, tool around on that one. So, Mr. Chairman, and that's it. That's all I got for you.
For now.
For now.
Bill?
The only thing I can report on is yesterday I did attend the meeting, Region 5 meeting in Lincoln again. And I guess there's just one thing I'd really like to stress. We have two different meetings. We have the systems meeting, and then we have the other meeting. Basically, there's 16 of us on there, and there was 7 of us sitting there yesterday morning when we was ready to start. We did not have a quorum. All of a sudden, one did come in on Zoom, so we had a quorum. We've had this problem time and time again. It never used to be that way before COVID. And I guess what I'd like to stress is, if you are designated as a liaison on that committee, attend those meetings, be a part of it. I don't know what the problem is, but we have 16 county commissioners, and we have a heck of a time getting a quorum. And that's, people do not take their job seriously, and I guess I'd just like to stress that if you are on a committee, be at the meeting. And we had a good meeting, everything went fine, but I have driven down there twice and had to come back home.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's all I have.
Just a reminder, Jerry Merklinger with Aging is retiring, and there's an open house there on June 30th from 2 to 4 p.m. You're invited down. We were supposed to have a Four Corners board meeting tonight, but there again, we don't have a quorum. But I'm gonna show up anyway. That's all I have.
Send the rest of them home.
Thanks, Jack.
Show up, send the rest of them home.
That's right.
Gary was not able to make it today. He had a scheduled meeting with Mr. Bartholomew with the school. He has spent a pretty good amount of his time mending relationships over the last week and a half, and felt like it was good that one get done.
Yeah.
Rochelle's replacement was hired
Okay.
this week, and he was part of that process too, his first week, so that, in case anybody wanted to know, that's for Gary. I mean, he plans on being at our meetings when court isn't in session, but he felt like that was very important to get that done. To add with Merklinger, Gary, retiring, we do have a longtime employee at the Roads Department, Randy Doremus, will be ending his employment at the end of the month. I did have an opportunity to go for a ride again, as me and Randy have done on several occasions. He doesn't want anything as far as like that, but sometimes you don't always get what you want, and I would say that our liaisons to that department, if they decided to encourage that, I think it'd be good. Randy, I think, has been a good asset to the county, and he's gonna take up retirement, and great for him in that respect. With the storms this last week, back at the first of the year, I'd asked for permission to sign emergency declarations. Gary got one to us yesterday, and MPPD had contacted Brett, Gary's helper, Sorensen. Currently, they have $190,000 in costs, estimating $240 total cost. So yesterday, I did sign that for him, just so you guys know that's what we did. I've got a couple other things with Kelly. The announcement in the paper, we'll need to check that to make sure that Zoom is not being added there anymore, and please remind them not to do that. Budget is we did have our budget meeting, and that is moving forward. It should be okay. I foresee a couple budgets for fuel costs, handy bus being one, sheriff being another. Roads is another. I mean, I just got a letter, not picking on you, but I just got a letter from News Times yesterday, and my cost is going up for my News Times for delivery fee too. $5 a month, for delivery. So I mean, it's what it is. So that postcard's gonna happen this year. There is no way out of that. I did forget one thing, and that's the engineer controls, to get that put on the meeting, so we will do that at the end of the month. I had announced last time we were gonna try to take these up on the 14th, and I found them in my packet last night, so. Yes, sir.
Forgot to mention something. Waco Days, guys, is coming up, June 24th, 26th. They have events Friday night. They have a gizzard bull fries starting at 5, so pick up your special lady, take her out for that. Pitch tournament that night. Then they have all sorts of stuff at the fire department for kids and stuff like that the next day. Then Sunday they have a polka party up from 4 to 8 at the restaurant in town there. So,
what was the dates?
June 24 and 26, so in a couple weeks here. So,
I had one more thing too. I had a message from the dementia group that's meeting, but I forgot what it was.
I'm done with one trying.
Are you sure?
We can't follow that.
Yes, sir.
No, this is actually, we got that first email from Gary. I wonder who the idiot was that come up with the idea you gotta have $58,000 in damage before you can file a claim with NEMA. Why would that be?
Right, yeah.
Oh.
And now all of a sudden we're up to 240.
Right, yeah.
So
Yeah, we blew by. Well, that's MPPD.
Right,
Right.
right, but who come up with a 58,000?
I didn't reserve the right to speak again, but
Go
I'll add
ahead.
one thing.
Sure. Go ahead, do it.
I did attend fire extinguisher training.
As did I.
Yeah. We passed. We both got the fire put out. So.
It was actually kind of interesting. And there is a 4-letter word.
There is. Yes. Pass.
So you pull the pin, you aim the thing, and you squeeze the trigger, and you sweep. But you have to take time to realize what the fire is. And then you gotta read the fire extinguisher and make sure you got the right letter on it to put out the fire that's in front of you, then you can go.
Then you can go to
and down the pass road. Yeah,
Otherwise,
so,
subject to be sued.
or it said, run. Are you in? Run and run fast. We did have, as you guys, we did get some zoning information. And I hope you've looked through some of that. That hopefully gets rectified here directly and see where we're at, and that those meetings will start to take place. But Mr. Blake had got that out to everybody, right? Okay, and so we should have that. Okay, did you have anything today?
Good.
We're all good then. Okay, we are adjourned. And I do have some updates